America Meditating Radio Show, we collect wisdom, inspire each other, and empower hearts 24/7. Hi, I'm Sister Jenna. Join me and guest on Blog Talk Radio as we amplify stories that compel us to be more for ourselves and everyone else around us.
The Azar Foundation for Children of the World is an organization aimed to support women and children in need across the globe. We believe in empowering lives, strengthening minds, and providing programs that enrich health and education. The Azar Foundation was founded in 2003 and has been serving the world ever since. Visit us at our website at www.azar4children.org. That's www.azar4children.org to find out more information about our endeavors and join our mailing list. Remember, the smile and the cry of a child doesn't have any language. The Azar Foundation. Blaylock Dialysis Center is a convenient state-of-the-art dialysis center in the Houston area, run by Dr. Panakin Patel. Relax in a comfortable environment while receiving quality care. Serving adults 18 to geriatrics, we are here to help you. Call 713-463-6611 for more information or visit us at our website at www.blaylockdialysiscenter.com. Blaylock Dialysis Center, where helping you get well is our priority.
Hi, my name is Misty Crutchfield with Gandhi's Bee Magazine, online magazine designed to raise awareness and inspire people about all of the amazing things happening in the world, as well as all the challenging things that can help us raise awareness so we can make a difference in the world and be the change. One of my inspirations is Sister Jenna and America Meditating Radio. I listen, you should too.
A clear mind. Taking just a minute, I turn my attention inwards. I silently observe my thoughts. Each thought a ripple on the surface of a lake. I gently remind myself I am like that deep, tranquil lake. As my mind touches tranquility, I allow calmness to wash over me, clearing the mind, returning me to my true peaceful nature. I allow peace to flow into my actions.
Welcome, everyone. You're listening to America Meditating, and I'm your host, Sister Jenna. That's our wonderful, beautiful, angelic friend, Sanatam Kaur and Egon Kar. And the meditation before was from Sister Jenna called Clearing One's Mind. So I hope that has prepared you to just be in your place for you. Is it only me, or am I the only one feeling that every encounter you have with a human being is offering you an opportunity to learn more about yourself? I have to tell you, this morning at the Meditation Museum after our class, there was a young man who stayed back, and he loves to just sit still and do nothing and be in what he calls yoga and meditation. And one of the things that frustrates me the most is individuals who say that meditation and spirituality is really just a sense of detaching from the world and being still, which I get that. But the proof for me, and this could only be my understanding, because it's my own reality of my spirituality, but the proof that my spirituality or meditation is working is that I pay my bills on time, I can live with a multitude of people and get along, I can deal with when the mountain is about to fall. Not only am I able to put my finger of cooperation to hold it up, but I could somehow mobilize a lot of people to do the same. I believe that some of the scenes of our spirituality being revealed in the world today is where we can definitely keep coexisting and bringing our gifts into it. And I was watching Sister Gita also talking with him, and I could see her getting a little purple, because she's really tanned. And what she was feeling is that what you're saying is right, brother. I hear you. Yes, we all need to be still in our minds. We need to breathe healthily. We need to be in a good mental state of mind. But also we need to live, and we're in our bodies for a specific reason. The soul is in the body so that it can express and live a fulfilled life. And so I want you to think about that. I mean, are you learning a lot about yourself? Is meditation just about sitting there doing nothing? Or is it really an observation of your patterns of thinking and really being engaged in the world and yet, showing up in a way that just shows your beauty, which is what I really deeply feel for me. Here listening to America Meditating, do not change your dial. We're going to have the wonderful, beautiful Dr. Romila-mushtaq, also known as Dr. Romie, on the air, and we're going to have a heart-to-heart conversation. Before I get Dr. Romie on, why don't we go to Sister Gita and find out what special little poem or reading that she has for us today. Sister Gita?
Take a deep breath. Om Shanti, and good day to all of us. I'm extracting this from Companion of God, authored by one of the world's wisdom keeper, Daddy Yankee. Obstacles within. A major obstacle to spiritual progress is one's own negative thinking. The root cause of this kind of nature is limited consciousness. This root has to be eliminated completely, because obstacles that arise from a negative nature will prevent you from even taking power from God. I believe that. Power from God is received through the awareness and faith that God belongs to you. A negative nature could destroy even this faith. Recognizing the root of the problem helps to transform it. Limited thinking should simply not be tolerated. There should be total cleanliness inside. My intellect should be so clean. When my intellect is clean, it is honest. For this, you need to be very honest about the obstacles you're facing, because it is easy to deceive yourself. Limited thinking will be transformed when you spend time in the awareness of your true nature. Your true nature is that of purity, peace, love, bliss, and truth. With these qualities, you are then able to help others. Have a pensive day, and may we wish each other an obstacle-free day. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you. As usual, you always touch us exactly in that place that I think is just so powerful. Thank you so much, Sister Gita. The America Meditating Radio is proud to welcome Dr. Romila-mushtaq. She's also known affectionately as Dr. Romie. Dr. Romie is a traditionally trained neurologist with additional board certifications in integrative medicine, and she brings together Western medicine and Eastern wisdom to help individuals and audiences learn to heal from stress-based illnesses such as insomnia, anxiety, and career burnout. I wonder if that also adds to spiritual career burnout. Dr. Romie has won numerous teachings and research awards and previously served as faculty at the Medical College of Wisconsin. She's highly sought-after professional speaker, teaching the medicine behind mindfulness to groups and corporations. She's an expert contributor in national and local media outlets such as Fox Business, the Huffington Post, Fox 35, NPR, and so much more. When not speaking around the country, Dr. Romie works with clients at the Center for Natural and Integrative Medicine in Orlando, Florida. Today, we're honored to welcome Dr. Romie to the America Meditating Radio Show. Hi.
Hello, Sister Jenna. Thank you. It's an honor to be of service to your audience. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, I know you've been doing a lot of good, and I know that we came to find out more about you through your TED Talk. Isn't TED Talk amazing?
What an amazing opportunity to share that, as they say, idea worth spreading. And, when I started out, I was almost frightened to share this idea of the powerful healing that spirituality and meditation brings to the physical body and mental health. And when you step aside from that fear and decide you're going to share, opportunities like this, the doors just open when you're on your path of truth.
That is so true. So talk to us a little bit about the powerful secret of breath. I went for my morning walk today, and I remembered a little, and she must have been about 14 or 15. And she said, Sister Jenna, when you get older, you don't breathe well. I was told that by my grandmother. You're supposed to breathe like this. And she was showing me that, like when you inhale, your stomach is supposed to go out, and when you exhale, I think your stomach is supposed to go in. And she told me this, that do you know that when you're sleeping, you breathe normal, but when you're awake, you don't. Is that true? This is a 14-year-old.
Soul. Yes, what a wise young soul. And I think that's the wisdom coming directly from the heavens down to both of us, that we needed to hear that through that young, wise soul. And you're absolutely true. So let's, I have the honor of bringing together both neuroscience and medicine with, the actual spirituality. And so what's happened with the brain, our subconscious brain, autonomic nervous system, is, controlling our breath. Without breath, we can't have life. That is so we're always breathing subconsciously. But what happens, and we don't realize, and this young woman is so truthful, is we often are holding our breath or limiting our breath by the posture we take. Think of how many of us are stooped over a computer or mobile phones during the day. So it's not just aging. I think people of every age, we tend to hold our breath when we are engaging our brain in activity, whether it's playing a video game or, typing out an email. And until we stop and consciously take that breath, think of it as almost a reset for the brain to refocus and re-energize and be present in the current moment.
Wow. So is breathing really that important for our well-being, Dr. Romie?
When I talk about the powerful secret of your breath, I go back to the ancient traditions, aside from being a doctor. I'm a yogi, and one of the core principles in yoga is not these fancy, convoluted, twisted postures and asanas we see in yoga advertisements, but it's actually connecting to prana, our life. And when we connect to this life source, or prana, or in traditional Chinese medicine known as qi, it is through breath. And so when we consciously breathe, not only are we creating a series of chemical and hormonal changes to relax the body and the brain, but we're also now anchoring ourselves into the present moment. This is that present moment where light's truth, we're connecting to grace, to spirit, to God, however people describe it. And that is what the secret is, and why breath is so important. Now, it's very hard to go about our multiple tasks during the day, even me speaking to you and you asking me great questions here. We have to count on our subconscious breathing. But if we can just consciously take a breath, periodically throughout the day, that's the secret of having health in mind, body, and spirit, or the foundation of it. Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you mentioned that about the various postures that has been marketed with yoga. And I know there are a variety of yogas, and that's fine. I mean, I practice Raj Yoga, but it's a mental yoga. It's not a physical one. And I just don't know. I tried that physical yoga. It doesn't work for me. I can't seem to get my body that flexible. And I do find that in the breathing, I find more. And lately, Dr. Romie, I've been catching myself just taking deep breaths in the day because that time of the year of my life, and there's a lot of changes physically going on hormonally, and there's just a lot of things on my agenda. And where I never found myself ever breathing deep, I find myself now feeling relief from just going, like I just need that.
Absolutely. There are 8 limbs of yoga. Asana are those postures that have become so popular here in the United States. There's only one branch, and pranayama, the breathing exercises, in a great book, I'd love to send to you and to any of your listeners, goes back to Light on Pranayama by Iyengar, may he rest in peace, and one of the greatest yoga teachers, I think, of all time. And it goes through the different breaths and type of breathing that we can use for well-being. And some of these breathing postures, really, I've seen, have been modified and even brought into modern-day physical therapy and respiratory therapy that I see our therapists in the hospital teaching patients who have lung diseases. So it's really interesting, that evolution that occurs. But to go back to your other point about wanting to be flexible, we do yoga so we can be flexible. And when I prescribing yoga, I actually teach yoga in our clinic often to patients with a lot of various diseases like Lyme disease, autoimmune, menopause. So they may be feeling emotionally or physically limited in postures. We allow breath to connect the movement. So in Hatha yoga, and it's very gentle or restorative. So if anybody is listening, I say, look for the restorative yogas or the gentle yogas where the posture is truly connected to breath. A different type of yoga suits every different type of body and person. There is no judgment, so don't have judgment of yourself if you've been doing yoga for, 10 days or 10 years and you still can't achieve those complicated asanas. That is not the point of yoga. It is to connect the mind and the body. That yogi, that is it.
Powerful and very important. Dr. Romie, what inspired your interest in Western medicine, and how did you come to study Eastern wisdom, with yoga, meditation? Because in our medical world here in the West, we look at meditation and yoga as an alternative approach, but actually it's the preventative approach, don't you think?
I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And, I start with my upbringing, spirituality and the concepts of Ayurveda, passed down from my grandmother, and things that maybe inherently we always did. And as you mentioned, you go into this rigorous medical training, and things like your prayer or meditation routine are something personal. Let's not talk about it. Leave it out of the hospital, leave it out of health. And it gets largely ignored. And, you were so gracious in reading my introduction at the beginning, but, also what happened. And the truth is, in my journey to become a well-established doctor and researcher and all the great things I've done, initially, there was one thing that was lacking, and that I did not know how to manage my stress. Like many of your listeners, I was working 80, 90, 100-hour work weeks, and the stress was taking its toll on me mentally and physically. And so, I started to develop anxiety, gaining a lot of weight, craving sugar, and, what ended up happening, I have a rare medical disorder called achalasia, which causes profound difficulty in swallowing and changes in the anatomy of your food pipe, your esophagus and stomach. And with the high-stress lifestyle I was leading, that condition became so bad, I needed, life-saving surgery to help correct it. And that was at that time when I was home with my mother and father healing post-op that I kind of started to put the pieces of this puzzle together, that when I would sit in meditation or when I would do a very gentle yoga or restorative yoga, the chest pain I was feeling would go away, my anxiety improved, and my overall feeling of hope, started to come. And so I started this journey traveling around the world, learning different types of yoga and meditation and Ayurveda and understanding this first for my own healing. And when I started to feel better and transformed as a doctor, how can I not share this with my patients? And initially, for doctors, it can be very isolating. I'm not alone, where you realize you need to bring a blend of Eastern and Western medicine together, and we need to stop labeling it alternative or complementary medicine or all the other labels that we use here in the United States. And I wanted to bring the two together. And now integrative medicine is that field. It is an actual board certification in the Western medical world, where we are learning the science behind how things like yoga and meditation, as you said, not only are preventative medicine, but also healing medicine. I am a believer. Meditation is medicine for the mind. In fact, I'm on a one-woman mission, and look at this. I mean, the universe provides, and I get to talk to Sister Jenna, who is on America Meditating Radio. Yes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it. But it's true, because when you really start to shift the way that you're thinking and feeling and doing things, and sometimes we ourselves have to go through something. I have to tell you, last year I pulled back, this year I pulled back a lot. And as a result of consciously pulling back, and I pulled back, Dr. Romie, not because I was going through anything or I was stressed or it was a rough year. It was one of the best. But I pulled back with the feeling that if I kept going at this speed, this could be unhealthy. Now, here's the irony to this equation. In pulling back, I've not been feeling so great. Like, I'm not physically feeling the best that I've ever felt. And I find myself asking this question, and perhaps you can help. It's like I'm asking myself a question like, when I'm in my, what they call the mojo or the zone, and just moving and, you know, doing 100 things at once. As a yogi, I have to tell you, to me, it's my definition of God's light. It's like I'm fine. Nothing's affecting me physically. And now I have a little bit more time on my hands because I have chosen that. And I still am responsible for a lot of things, but I don't feel that wow. I don't feel that wowness. How would you talk to that?
Yeah, that's not uncommon to occur. You know, when you talk about career burnout, you think, okay, working the 100-hour work week, so I'm going to do that. But, you know, what I think always is we are energized inherently in mind, body, spirit when we're working our life purpose. Here is the one thing that people don't realize, Sister Jenna. Our life purpose can change day to day, week to week, year to year. I honor that in my 20s, my purpose was to be an outstanding medical student and residency and fellowship training. Okay. In my early 30s, it was to establish research in neurology and epilepsy. And now, as I've shifted to 40, it was to get my integrative medicine. My purpose has shifted. And so I stayed in that energy. And so when we start losing that energy, it kind of goes into that. And we'll talk about this. My Mindset Matters program is we go back to that step one, which is this concept of rooted in mindfulness, which is compassion, and not compassion to others, because healers like you and I tend to overgive everywhere we go. It is compassion towards self. You know, self-compassion is self-love. And if there's tired and there's not mojo, it's okay, well, that's my body and my spirit and mind saying I'm tired and I need to be refueled. And, you know, that is physical rest, reassessing nutrition, reassessing the physical body and health. You know, you talked about yourself. If we can, use you as an example, if you don't mind. You mentioned earlier that, maybe some hormonal changes going on and getting that assessed. It's just kind of, okay, how do I refuel my body? How do I refuel my mind? Often sleep and rest. And then let it connect to purpose.
See, what's interesting about me is I don't do well with sleep. I'm not a sleeper. So, and my producer, Antonia, she's always like looking at me, just do nothing. And I'm going, listen, Antonia, the world's going to end soon. I've got to create as much fortune and elevate as many people before it happens.
Well, then this is the exact reason why I'm meant to be here, because I'm the polar opposite. Sleep is sacred. And could I take a minute, from the brain point of view and medical point of view, sleep deprivation causes imbalances in hormones. It makes underlying diseases like depression, anxiety worse, things like fibromyalgia, arthritis, pain. So, without sleep, the body, the hormones don't get restored and inflammation runs amok. But what people also
you're
don't know. Yeah, absolutely. Then the other side, the spiritual side, and this will speak to yours. What does Eastern wisdom tell us about sleep? My grandmother taught me this, and I've heard it time and time again from other spiritual teachers, is when we sleep, our spirit returns up to heaven. This is our time our intuition is restored. our spirit is restored. And so when we wake up in the morning and we take that first conscious breath, it should be one of gratitude to God, to the universe, that I have breath on this life, on this earth today. And then ask, how can I be of service? You know, and that's really why you'll see in multiple cultures and religions around the world, often the morning when you first wake up is often the ideal time that people say, get up and pray, meditate, you know, your spiritual, you know, whatever habits are in the morning and practices, to do that when that first comes. And that's when intuition is the strongest. So when people come to me and say, oh, Dr. Romie, I heard you're medically intuitive and I can't do it for myself. Everybody has an intuition. Everybody has a spirit. Everyone has that gut instinct. When we sleep, we restore it. So if I think my only purpose to speak to you today, Sister Jenna, was to get you sleeping, then that is my mission this hour, because you're giving so much love and light out to the world. I'm holding intention you're going to sleep, and what other listeners are going to join in reminding Sister Jenna that sleep is sacred? You know, I invite you all to do that.
Okay. You've convinced me. I'm going to give it a shot today.
Yes, and we can definitely talk offline and let me know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. I really needed to hear that, because even Arianna Huffington has a new book out on sleep and the importance of sleep. And I think with the acceleration of technology and we're so engaged all the time that the soul isn't resting. But that's where I think I want to go to your program, The Mindset Matters. And it's based in neuroscience, positive psychology, and mindfulness. Could you give us some more knowledge on that Mindset Matters and what inspired you to develop it?
Absolutely. You know, when I first got sick, and this was back, you know, it was years of not feeling well, but like the pinnacle of needing surgery and kind of, you know, everything just feeling like it fell apart was in 2010. I first started to come upon these books, Positive Thinking, okay? And it'd be like, okay, I am healed, healthy, and whole. And in the meantime, I'm having chest pain. I'm like, this isn't helping, you know? And it made me really think, does positive thought work or not? And you know, times, and I hear this from clients, positive affirmations and positive thought, it feels like we're putting fancy whipped cream on top of a mud pie. And so why I developed and started to study this, it's like a culmination of, you know, my lifetime's work, was how do we dig deeper and clear the mud? The mud is the limiting beliefs. It is the inflammation that's happening in the brain and in the body, the toxicity, you know, that role of how do I clear the mud so my physical and emotional symptoms are better. And that is what, you know, helped me to develop this program, so that the positive thoughts are just the beginning of, you know, connecting to realizing I need to make a lifestyle change. How do I change the habit? What habit to change will serve me personally? Because, you know, just like a dress or a diet, one size doesn't fit all. And so it's really customizing healing for people. And, you know, it sounds very esoteric, but let me give you some specific examples. I work with clients who come to me with refractory depression and anxiety, meaning medicines aren't working. You know, they may have said, well, I went to the acupuncturist, I've tried yoga, I may get temporary relief. It's not, and it's getting deeper. And for some clients, it's teaching them forgiveness exercises. For others, it's been going in deep and, you know, changing diet and balancing hormones. It's different for everybody. You know, I've had anxiety patients that it was like, you know, phobia that developed as babies that they just didn't remember, and we unlock in deep meditation, heal that, clear that, and now all of a sudden the phobias are healed. So this is what healing is, and it's no different for insomnia or heartburn. And, you know, when our stress response is off in the body, and that starts with the brain, it creates this cascade of imbalances in chemicals and hormones throughout the entire body. And all these symptoms show up. And it's how do we begin to heal that? And that's why I developed the Mindset Matters program. I really believe people can have a happy brain, which is a healthy and functioning brain, to then move on and have a happier life and a more fulfilled life.
Beautiful. Now, where does the soul play out in all of this? You know, like Maria Shriver has started a program with Alzheimer's, and he's looking at Move for Minds and how to make the brain healthier so that there's less stories about the suffering of Alzheimer's, especially in women. It's a very, very high number. Where does the soul play a part? My understanding, Dr. Romie, is whatever the soul has experienced and lived in its life, it transmits that vibration from a level of thought, words, action, experiences, and whatever's sitting in the soul, that's vibrating through the body, through the cells, and through the brain. That's what's really contributing to all the things that are going on. So is it really a focus on the brain, or do you also, is there a part where we have to look at both dimensions? Do you offer knowledge on both areas?
All three are equally important. It's a delicate dance, the body, the mind, and the spirit. And so you so eloquently said that when we are not connected to spirit, connected to our truth, or something has happened, which, every human walking this earth has had something to happen that has traumatized, hurt their soul. It carries into our physical health and emotional health. But it's all a balance. And I'll give an example. I was teaching at an energy medicine conference, and people were doing maybe a modern-day version of what in ancient India's chakra balancing and fluffing their auras. But at the same time, I see them eating sugar-filled donuts and chocolate croissants.
Yum.
And, right? And initially, sure, yum, but, that's sugar that promotes inflammation in the body. And so when I say the body, the mind, and the spirit must be balanced, we can't ignore any area. And where Western medicine is not offering complete healing is that we've taken spirituality 100% out of the equation. And where I think some of the very traditional holistic healers come short is they poo-poo everything Western medicine does. And that is also wrong, Sister Jenna. I am alive because one of the most brilliant cardiothoracic surgeons operated on me. I have watched lives saved by medications I gave to stroke victims or seizure patients sitting in the emergency room. So, especially when there is a medical crisis and we are in an acute problem, there is wisdom in Western medicine. We have to bring both together to learn to have health. We cannot ignore one side or the other. And I think this is where I'm in a very unique position, is trying to be that bridge between both communities, because both communities can sometimes sit in judgment of one another, and having judgment hurts everybody. And when we can all come to a place of love and respect and acceptance, that's how we start healing. And, I'm not one healer to heal all aspects of the mind, the body, the spirit. We all need to work together as teams.
Right. I love that. That's so beautiful, so important. Wow. Very rich and very important. We're just always told about taking care of ourselves, and on a whole, we put a lot of money in doing that, but sometimes it's still not really happening. The balance of the inner and the outer is missing, and that's why I think what you're offering gives us both dimensions for us to look at, because it's the time. It's definitely the time for that.
It is, so we start with self-compassion, like I was telling you, but self-compassion, it's taking care of ourselves and making that a priority. I talk about, the 20 minutes a day to bring down the stress response in the brain by, doing relaxing activities that calm the senses. That's the key before we sit down in our prayer or meditation. Otherwise, often people sit down and say, my thoughts keep running, or I'm still stuck on my to-do list, or something really emotional that happened to me today. So we must, calm ourselves down, calm the body, calm the brain down, and then kind of honor the time for our spirit. It's that's how we truly stay in balance, in health, in mind, body, and spirit.
Beautiful. Well, as we get to the end of our beautiful conversation, and you've inspired me to want to sleep some more, so you're very effective. Give us in maybe 3 steps. What would you like our listeners to start to practice as a result of this conversation?
I'm going to give you 3 simple steps, which is also a free gift that your listeners can get from my website at Dr. Romie. And I'm going to tailor this especially for you, Sister Jenna, and anybody else who wants to sleep. So number 1, will you commit to 1 hour of digital detox before bedtime? No tablet, no TV, no laptop, no smartphone. The blue lights from those devices interrupt our melatonin and the circadian rhythm of our brain and fool ourselves to think we need to be awake. And those filters and everything have not really been shown scientifically to help. So step 1 is digital detox. Step 2 is what I call a brain dump. I want you to take good old-fashioned pen and paper and write down every emotion you're feeling from the day, every to-do list. Oh, did I lock the door? I need to remember to buy dog food. I feel excited about the date I had earlier tonight. Write them all down. Don't organize it. Just get it all out of your system. Because when we touch the pen and we see the paper, we are actually training our brains to release these thoughts from our brains so that we don't have to worry about them or remember them or commit them to memory. They're already out. And step 3, I just want you to sit and take 10 conscious breaths. So we circle back to that beautiful wisdom that 14-year-old girl shared with you and, the wisdom of pranayama, and to take a deep breath. Just ask people to put their right hand on their navel, and as you inhale, push the navel and your right hand out in front of you, inhaling to the count of 3, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Hold the breath, 1, 1,000, and exhale to 4, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, belly coming back flat down to the spine. And repeat that cycle a total of 10 times. Do these 3 things before bedtime and just welcome sleep. Welcome the restoration of your memory, your hormones, your body, and your spirit during sleep, because sleep is sacred.
Perfect. Wow, perfect. Thank you for that. Oh, I'm
You're
definitely
welcome.
going to keep you updated on how well I did.
Please do, Sister Jenna, and I'm going to check in with you. And, do we have time for one quick prayer? I was reading through your website and listening to some of your previous radio shows, and I wanted to share the Healer's Prayer from A Course in Miracles. That grounds me before every client, before everything I do, when I take a conscious breath and I want to reconnect to my spirit. Here it is. It's from chapter 2 in the text of A Course in Miracles. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because He who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever He wishes, knowing He goes there with me. I will be healed as I let Him teach me to heal. Amen. And so it is.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Leave us at the website so we find you.
Absolutely. dr-romie.com, and people can get that free information about sleep from there. Absolutely.
Perfect. Dr. Romie, we thank you so much for your contribution and wish you a lot of success in everything that you do.
Amen. Thank you. And holding intention for you to continue to spread your light. Thank you.
It's received. Thank you so much. Take care. So is it as simple as 10 breaths, my friends? Well, I'm going to definitely try it because I really, really meant what I was sharing with Dr. Romie. And again, something that I think is so important to keep dispelling that you always have the answers. Of course you have the answers. It doesn't mean you always apply them. It still means that together we're all helping each other out on a journey. And so take your 10 breaths a day. Detox from the computer. I mean, it's funny that Dr. Romie mentioned this, everyone. Last night, it was just last night, I decided to just turn everything off, the cell phone, everything, and just be. And I have to tell you, after an hour, my awareness was, oh gosh, the backlog that I'm going to bump into when I turn back on. And I know that this is something that I will do for myself and must do. So I want to thank Dr. Romie so much for these beautiful reminders. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Please go to visit Dr. Romie at her website. I think that was dr-romie.com, or she has another website called brainbodybeauty.com. You can also watch her in TEDx talk, The Powerful Secret of Your Breath, which is where we came to find out about her. No one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission, and we are here to love each other the same. So it might be nice for us to really start to do that more and more. Take care, everyone. We're wishing you all the best. We're going to end it with Between the Veils by Kristen Hoffman.
Cover me feel the sound